we're here at Southampton University today. Today we'll be going around the city centre to see who knows what about the Spitfire aircraft from World War II. Just outside the university to ask a handful of people how much they know about the Spitfire aircraft around Southampton.
Not much. I don't, is it the pub?
Nothing.
The only thing I know about it is that it's an aircraft and it was used in the war.
Actually, my great-granddad used to, in the war, be an engineer for planes. He probably know a lot more than I do, but unfortunately, yeah, I just know it as a plane.
I know that they tested it, I think, from Eastleigh.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a pub down there.
I know that it's a plane used in the Second World War to fight off the Nazi during the British invasion.
I don't actually know anything about the Spitfire, to be honest.
So we didn't find out too much here outside the university, so we're going to pop along to the high street and see how much people know there. Most people said that they knew it was a pub, so we might start off at the Spitfire pub, see if people know the heritage, maybe why it might be called the Spitfire, or if anyone on the high street knows a bit more than people in the park.
No, I don't know what that is.
Well, it was the lifesaver, wasn't it, for Britain during the war?
Yeah, I remember the Spitfire being an amazing machine, amazing aeroplane.
Very streamlined. It's an iconic kind of aircraft. I think everybody celebrates it.
I swear it came out in the Second World War, like, it was a fight. Was it a fighter jet? I think it might have been a fighter jet, but I don't know.
My name is Tony Martin. I'm a local resident and a photographer in the city. And I have had many years in the past with the experience of the Spitfire plane. My relatives and good friends were participating during the war and did training on the Hurricane and the Spitfire. And it was for many, many years that I had the opportunity to learn from them, but also video on occasions the flights of the Spitfire from Eastleigh. I had a really nice opportunity to take a picture called Fred Zinnemann. Not too long after that, he died, and I happened to have taken the last photograph of this very famous director in the world. I was only a young boy during the war, but my interest grew very quickly. Mr. Mitchell, a very, very clever designer, decided to take matters in hand at the Woolston base here, at Supermarine, and came up with the idea of the Spitfire. The sports centre and the common were filled completely with Canadian and American soldiers, tanks, jeeps, and equipment ready to go over to Normandy in '44. I can remember us walking along Bassett Road, down through the golf course, passing, which is now the greenkeeper's hut, and that was the Americans' kitchen, and they would come out and offer us candy and things of that nature and talk to us, and we would go on to the boat, the little boat pond that was on the sports centre. But why I'm saying that is, one day came along, and there was no one there. Out of thousands and thousands that were on the common and the sports centre. No personnel, no equipment. And that was the beginning of D-Day. You see, so many tens of thousands embarked from here down at the Tow Quay on their landing crafts to go out to the main ships into the Channel. And the whole town here was filled with military personnel at the time. But you've got to bear in mind that, as I've mentioned earlier, in 1940, long before the Americans became involved with following Pearl Harbor, we were alone. And this whole town was being flattened completely. Yeah, absolutely. There was nothing left. There was the bar gate, there was the civic attendant clock, but everything was flattened, totally. And I can remember walking down here regularly and seeing shopkeepers with just little trestles outside selling their goods. And there was no shops. You didn't walk into a shop anywhere. There was nothing left at all.
Okay, so we're outside the Red Line pub, so we're going to be asking some people to react to an old picture of it when it was devastated during the Blitz.
It honestly doesn't look like it right now.
It must have been an awful place to have been during the time. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, but you see people getting on with their everyday business at the same time, don't you?
Exactly. Because we're also from cities that were hit well and truly. And it took a long, long time to get them rebuilt, but it actually created a sort of resilience.
It looks destroyed a little bit.
Yes.
That's a pity. Well, this is wonderful, but and the second one, and the third one, but up to the tower, I don't like.
We're at Bar Gates today for some reactions from the public to what it used to look like in World War II, which was an air raid shelter during the war.
Well, I think it's like obviously aged a bit and it looks really, I don't know, it must have been terrifying.
It's not ideal, is it?
No.
That's been there for hundreds of years and they're having to use it to not die.
Petrified. Right, that's the only thing I can say. You know, they must have been absolutely petrified. You know, because it's quite a big thing. It sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lovely building. I'm just sort of saying it. I'm surprised it's still standing, to tell you the truth.
I wouldn't move anywhere else. I love the city.
We're proud to say that, you know, British and American and Canadian forces gave the Europeans the opportunity to survive.